This is my video about me be me being diagnosed with arthritis last year, and then this year I went to a different doctor through Anthem Blue Cross Medical, and I was diagnosed with bilateral hip pain. If you look up the definition of bilateral hip pain on the internet or on YouTube, you most likely will see that people with that type of pain is considered arthritis. This time, second time, with a different specialist, he just said it's arthritis and it's not anything else. And what he said was that I was that my x-rays didn't show anything, and I got x-rays on both of my hips. And rewind that to 2016 when I was diagnosed with arthritis at Kaiser. I went in first January with hip pain, and I was limited in doing any type of motion, and it was painful to even tie my shoe, and I couldn't do much. And I went in February 2016, and they told me that after I did the x-rays, I got a letter, and then I got a call saying what time do I want to make the appointment to see a specialist about my arthritis. And basically on the letter it said that I have arthritis and that my hip, there's a narrow spacing in the joint. So that is what was causing my my limited motion, the limited flexibility. So I couldn't do much. Like, I could still walk, but I couldn't tie my shoe. My hip was hurting, and different things like playing any type of sports, or I like to ride the bike, so there was a discomfort in the saddle, and before I didn't have that. So I went in and they offered physical therapy. It worked for a little while, and then it didn't, and then I just started to feel the pain again. And basically I just continued to go back, and I had I have pain in my shoulders as well, and they didn't do no x-rays on that. And basically on this left shoulder, I'll show you right now, as you can hear it, it's cracking, and that motion, I don't do it, I don't do anymore. And my hip as well, it cracks as well, and it kind of does that type of sound. And then my knees, if I bend them, like let's say I'm cleaning the bike and I have my knees bent, it cracks as well. Like, could demonstrate. Maybe you have to have if you could hear that. basically, you know, all of my joints are painful. It's mostly the right hip, and but yeah, I went to change from Kaiser to Medical, and then so I went in. I set up my doctor's appointment, and then he sent me to do blood tests, and I did several drug tests as well. I don't do drugs, but they needed to take my blood for that, and so the drug test was good. All the blood, everything of the blood as well, everything's working good. I don't know what it was. I believe like kidneys and the liver and all of that stuff, and then I went to go to the specialist, and I was approved, and I did x-rays first, and he said that the x-rays didn't show anything, and I didn't see the x-rays from Kaiser, and I didn't, if I see it, I'm not able to know what exactly is wrong, or if there's a narrowing of the hip, or if there's like a cut above the ball of the hip, but there's a lot of questions that I had, and they were answered, and I went to physical therapy, and my pain of hip went from 9 or 10 to about 5 or 6, and I'm gonna continue to do it, the physical therapy exercises, and I bought a roller as well to loosen up those muscles, and but yeah, like I'll post the update of what when I go to the specialist, and see what he says, and what could be done next, but yeah, and I'm in my 20s as well, but I have had the hip pain for since I was 24 years of age, and yeah, so from right now, it's probably over 2 years that I've had the pain of the hip, so hopefully this gets resolved. I don't want to get no hip replacement, but if I have to, then I have to get my hip replaced. But yeah,